Alexis. How are you doing today?
Hello, I am doing good. I am tired, which seems to be this month's word of the day or word of the month, I should say. But other than that, I'm okay. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I'm also tired, and today has been a really odd day. Like it was like very, very high vibrational day, and then it kind of like just I could really feel myself switching realities because there's many sayings um, that we change realities kind of like a billion times a second or very, very fast, right? It's so
Right,
subtle.
right.
But like today was one of those days where it wasn't so subtle. It was almost kind of like jarring, where I just, yeah, I was in completely different worlds. Then add in the dream space, like the dream time. And it was just kind of weird, like my dream space, which we'll be talking about all of that. Um, so yeah, so it's been a kind of a weird day,
I
but
think
like,
it's also been a weird day on my end too. Like I was driving to work today and I traffic is really weird, like very unusual. And traffic's always annoying, but today was like everybody in the left lane was going like 55 miles an hour and everybody in the right lane was going really fast. And it was just this weird combo, and people were just weird. And I feel like when traffic's weird, it throws off my day. And I felt like my blood pressure like rise as I was driving to work today to the point where like I don't really have that often, where it felt like this like radiating heat like around my chest and like up, and like I don't get that often, so i
yeah.
can i can
That was
also.
actually, that's funny. That was me yesterday because, like, I don't know. I'm like, okay, maybe it's this fiery energy. Maybe there's fiery energy in the air. And I just had to check the astrology for where the moon is right now because I know this morning the moon was in Capricorn or Scorpio. And possibly, like, definitely yesterday, but I'm pretty sure it was there this morning. And so I was just like, I was feeling that. It kind of felt like today's energy kind of felt like a full moon energy.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
I felt
100%.
very like heightened and psychically aware, but then the outside world was like just turned up in a weird way. So I don't know. Those of you watching, hi Mary, hi Jackie, thank you for being here. Let us know how your day was. Well, Mary, I already know how your day was. And it was off similarly, just weird energy. Um, and Jackie, I know Jackie and I had the morning together, which was very like otherworldly and high vibrational. And then we went to do our own thing. So I'm curious, Jackie, how your day went. But yeah, I'm really happy to be here because this is like my world, my realm, my
Yep,
reality talking about these things. So I feel like I'm back where I'm meant to be in
a
this moment.
hundred percent. I feel that. And even your mention of like feeling the reality shifts, like it makes so much sense. I mean, every decision we make, every single thing we do throughout the day, like you said, it's like we change realities like billions of times a day because it's just so frequent how things shift and change. And when it's more like strongly in your awareness, it really plays a role in the way your day goes too.
Yeah, and you know what? It's just so interesting that we're talking about this because when I was in bed, there was a lot at the top of my mind when I was in bed, a lot focused on reality and just like duality, but like the polar opposites of existence or just things in general. And then also like this concept of moving from reality to reality. And so I know one of the biggest ways, and I think actually maybe it was you, Alexis, that mentioned it to me. But yeah, because we were talking about my dreams as far as like the sleep paralysis, and you're like, oh, I wonder if you, I'm pretty sure this was you mentioning, I wonder if you woke up in like another reality
Yeah,
after
yeah,
that,
yeah.
like even in the morning. And so that really stuck with me the rest of my day. So last night I was in bed thinking about that, and I was being very intentional. And I was like, you know what? Like, I'm going to wake up in this reality tomorrow. And yeah, but it was like the transitions of reality was so profound today. So pretty much that's like, that's all I can say. say right now about that before we get into like the deeper um aspects of like the dream space and how it's been over the past lunar cycle.
Absolutely. And I do agree with you. I do think it's the fiery energy because I have to say that wasn't the only time today where my blood pressure went up and like I felt fiery. Like when I knew it was my friend's birthday, but I was like not 100% sure and I didn't want to send a message too early. So
Yeah.
I logged on to Facebook and I've had my Facebook disabled for a while now because it's just like a cesspool of like misery and I logged on today just to check the birthdays to make sure I was right. And immediately I saw a bunch of things from family members that was like making me angry and
Mm-hmm.
making me fiery. And it felt like I had this impulse to start shit all day
Wow.
since I
Yeah.
logged in.
Yeah.
And I think it was before I even left work, I deactivated my account again because it was like the impulse to just
Yeah.
start problems and not even like about it wasn't like I was starting issues that aren't like a daily problem. It was like there's types of people who are very for one thing and I just wanted to rage bait them
Mm-hmm.
up and it really felt like an impulse that I couldn't stop thinking about and I was like, wow,
Yeah.
I haven't felt that in a while and I need to, yeah, that fiery energy 100% I think was an
So
day.
interesting because I had, and I'll share more after the podcast, but like, yeah, that fiery energy in that manner has been like in the space for the past couple days, and today it kind of came to a head. So,
Well, it
um,
makes sense, like the
yeah,
Sag sun with the Scorpio moon over the last couple days, and then now we're in the Sag moon, so it's that double fire really like coming in
mhm,
strong. Oh, absolutely.
yeah. So, we're going to speak to the energy as we have already started, but we're going to talk more about the astrology, the 12-12 energy that we're still in, for at least from my perspective, just my read on things and where we are at this moment, ending the year and going into 2026. So we'll talk about that, and we'll also, of course, talk about the new moon energies, and then we'll share how our dream space has been. So Mary and Jackie, if you feel free, you can share in the chat how your dream space has been since the last new moon, which is on November 20th. There was a new moon in Scorpio season right at the end, pretty much, of Scorpio season. And yeah, Jackie is also affirming just the energy, like being buzzy, chaotic, definitely full moon energy, giving full moon energy. And it's like, yo, like it's supposed to be winter. We're all supposed to be chill, still, and the moon is dark. Can I get my peace? Like where's
Yes.
peace? Like,
God, we need our peace.
yeah, that's literally what I'm feeling into. So basically I do want to just mention the 12-12 portal and my understanding of it right now. And I'll be honest, I'm someone that I get burnt out with these portals. Like everyone's like, there's 11-11 portal, 10-10, 11-11 is legit. Like I vibe with 11-11, but you know what I mean? 8-8, 9-9. Yes. And I'm not saying that to um discredit anyone's experience and what they're feeling into. I just normally don't really feel into them unless I'm drawn to it. And 12-12, I just felt like this one in particular is really potent because of that like completion energy. Like we're already in the completion energy with it being a year 9 in the collective numerology, right? So there's that year 9, then the 12-12. And I like the way like something just, I could just see this expansion of this like time and space between 12-12 and 12-21, right? And then there's that, inverted, or yeah, like the play on numbers. And also, I believe they're 7 days apart because I'm pretty sure 12-12 was on Sunday last week. But nonetheless, I feel that this is an important window. And the window, or what I'm feeling into for this energy, is that like a strong emphasis on completion. And as we know, it's that we're coming to bringing to a close the past 9-year cycle, right? And just that number 12 is that completion, is that full cycle. And so I get the sense that we are being guided to really let go of like patterns, relationships or people, events, emotions, thoughts, behaviors, all the things that are just like not serving us, essentially. Things that we already know this. If it's not serving us, let it go. Leave it be, right? Do not take that into the new year. But I feel like it's so strong. And I sense that this frustration and this chaotic energy are bouncing between different realities. It's like this portal energy is us at the threshold, right? Where enough is enough, and we have to really hold our boundaries. We have to, speak up for ourselves and find also some space of harmony and peace, because we more than likely have to coexist with in this environment, within this world, or these relationships to a certain degree. And so how do we find that balance? How do we find that harmony? Yeah, and I think that Jackie says, how do we find like that peace within the chaos, right? Like we're existing in this and in some capacity, especially as a greater collective. Like, how do we find our foundation? How do we find our like center ourselves in the chaos? And things are going to eventually kind of work themselves out for our own personal reality. But in the meantime, it's like we really have to find our center and our peace within this cycle. So that's what I'm getting between, like, for this 12-12 portal. And I see it as a window of time and space from now until the solstice. Not to say that, oh, everything's done then, but I just feel like that focus, like something coming to a head, and also having those moments of stillness, that being really important. I think it's all going to be very clear in this window of time for us.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with that. And so the 12-12 was actually on Friday. And that's actually that was significant in regards to what you're talking about finding that peace and finding that, amongst the chaos, because, I worked all day Friday, and then I immediately went to my parents' house because my family was up from Florida. So I went over to kind of like hang out and have some movie night with them and just kind of like enjoy spending time with them while they're up, because I only see them once a year, if that. And, that being said, being at home at my parents' house, I still have a lot of residual uncomfortability and trauma that comes through. And even like my parents' behavior, like they are fantastic, but there are some patterns that they have not worked out. And, especially when they're under the influence, there's behaviors that make me feel very uncomfortable and bring me back to a time where like I had to deal with that and I couldn't leave. And so that was a like testing me, like being able to stay calm and stay relaxed and be a part of this experience while dealing with the uncomfortableness of the way they were acting, and kind of allowing myself to find the peace within that chaos. And I feel like it's kind of been a continuous thing since then. Saturday into Sunday we had that a huge snowstorm over by us, and so I felt like there was chaos, and then this snow brought a lot of peace and silence, and like almost mellowed my entire aura out. I love the winter. I love snow. I know you've been getting snowstorms for a while now, but this was like our first one by
Yeah.
me. So it was just like,
No, I'm happy because I'm like, yes, be in it with me. Like, yeah, I want
yeah,
everyone to get snow because we've been getting a lot.
yeah. And it's just like, I feel like every day since Friday, it has really been watching my, like now I'm watching myself through the last couple of days, realizing how much I did hold peace with myself, for myself, within chaotic situations. And I'm trying not to linger on the chaos and the stress. I'm trying to let it go and let it fall off my shoulders, and that's very difficult just in general. So I absolutely understand the lessons coming through, and I am hoping that we all can move through it with ease.
Yeah, I mean, even like last night, just speaking of parents, I was on the phone with my mother and she has like, you see people's patterns and sometimes I think to myself like last night, I'm like, do you not are you an awareness of your patterns? Like she calls me late, she's watching the news all day and then she's watching it at night. She calls me, she has like just telling me things. I'm like, Mom, why do you always call me and tell me this before bed? I'm gonna stop answering the phone. You're
You
just not
have to, yeah.
after it's a certain time of day. Like I know you work and this is the time when you settle down. First of all, I'm putting my child to bed. Like, it's just and this
And
is
how
where
does she
I have
settle
to,
when
yeah.
she's dealing with that? Like, you can't settle when your nervous system is still
Exactly,
ramped
right?
up
It's
from
like I'm
that.
getting ready to get in bed. And so it's like, and then I look at myself, and I told myself this last night. I was like, why do I keep answering the phone? Like, just don't talk to her at night, which is like where I'm at now, where I'm just like, okay, because I feel like I do enjoy talking to my mom sometimes. And also, I mean, she's alone as an older lady. I do get concerned. I'm like, well, I feel like obligated. I feel obligated to answer the call. But, I'm going to start screening her calls. She calls me at this hour. I'm like, is this important or can I talk to you tomorrow? So
Yeah.
holding a boundary.
Or
And so
even
that's
like
an example.
along the lines, sorry.
No, you're good.
I was just gonna say, even along the lines of like if you answer and you know what the conversation's gonna be right off the rip, just be like, hey, I'll talk to you, but I don't want to talk about this.
Oh, I've said that too and don't matter. So
Well,
literally.
then that's the next step. It's just you just don't.
Yeah. I'm like gonna be screening this call. And I've already decided, I'm like, you know what? I don't owe her anything. Like I don't owe her a conversation every night when she
Right.
calls. So it's just a little things like that. I think it's going to be helpful when it comes to like closing the chapter, starting anew. Like I don't want to bring that into 2026. There's a
No.
lot coming up for me, a lot coming up for my people. And so, like I need to be focused and I need to clear my space and with love, right? I can,
Of course.
speak my truth and just like this is what it is.
No, you're 100% right. And I talked about this like a while ago. I talked about, I made a video on self sacrifice versus self preservation and like where to draw the line with your self sacrifice because it's almost like we have been in habit and pattern for so long to give all of our self to everyone around us to make everyone happy. But like, the way that it wears us down, the way we see how it weared our parents down and our grandparents down for teaching those things. And it's like, we don't have to continue that pattern. We can find self preservation again with love. It's not like you're cutting her out. You're just saying, this isn't the time for this type of conversation, and I need to preserve my well being.
Yeah. And so this plays right like really nicely into the Sagittarius new moon energy. Even though we're about to end Sagittarius season, but with the new lunar cycle, I feel that like fiery energy, I feel like there's an ability to direct our focus, our action, our intention, and yes, our attention towards what it is that we are really passionate about, like who we're becoming, and the reality that we want to live in, right? What we like, how we want to be, and how we want to exist, and that is like a big basically a big part of Sagittarius is that direction, like finding that direction, aiming the arrow and going for it, right? And so I think that the lunar cycle being in Sagittarius within the solar cycle very soon to come being in Capricorn, that's going to be a nice dynamic between the two because we're going to be able to really start to move towards and really anchor in what we truly desire and how we see, this next 9-year chapter. And this week, this 12/12 portal is really allowing us to see what is like completely out of alignment, what we don't have time for anymore, and so forth. So I'm really looking forward to this new moon energy in Sagittarius. I think it's going to be really, really nice, a really nice shift.
Me as well. And I think it's going to be nice to hold space for the new moon because I feel as though I've been so burnt out. And I'll get more into that when we talk about how the last cycle has been. But I haven't really been able to hold space for like the full moon and then the previous new moon and really do my ritual work and be creative and journal the way I'd like to. Like I have journaled once in December so far, and that's not like me. And it feels like
Yeah.
I'm not pulling out the things and putting them in a container. Like it's just bopping around and it's filling up and it's getting heavier and heavier. And so I'm really hoping that, well, you know what? I'm not even going to say I hope. I'm just going to make the time and space to really, kind of represent my well-being and need to have ritual with this new moon coming up and let things go.
Mhm.
So
Nice. All right. So with that said, we are going to share some announcements. I'm going to share one announcement that I didn't really talk about, but basically we won't see you guys until next year. This is our last live chat for the year. We're going to have an archive chat, and we're going to also share a previously recorded chat with that we did with Sarah and Billiana, who had their own podcast called Dream Oracle for You. It was a really good chat just to have with other dreamers and to see what their dream space is like in their dream practice. So we'll be sharing that in like another chat that we've had in the past. So yeah, we'll see you guys, next year. But we're gonna finish out this chat. But I just wanted to say that now. um,
absolutely. I'm so excited. Again, yeah, that conversation with Billiana and Sarah was fantastic. So make sure you tune in when it's posted so you can check it out. And yeah, it's incredible. We're closing out on our second like December with the podcast, and I'm very excited for the new year. I feel like I'm not even stressed because I feel like last year from 2024 to 2025 I was really stressed.
mhm.
But 2025 to 2026 I'm like, please. I'm ready. I'm ready to let
I
go.
just typed, that's funny. I just typed that in the chat to Mary. I was like, I'm ready, Mary, like from a
Yeah,
comment she had, and it's like, then you say it.
we're ready. It's like, yeah, like 2025 was the year of the snake. It was, year of endings. The nine representing endings and completion. And I have shed enough skin this year. And I'm ready to have the year of the horse come through and push us towards our goals and just feel, I don't know, I feel like the lessons were so heavy this year that we've got to come through in this metamorphosis to the other side and experience newness and have fun with it. So I'm really looking forward to the new year.
Yeah.
Um, but that being said, I'll go right into our next announcement, unless you have anything else to say.
Nope, you're good.
Okay. So, if you haven't known already, Urania and I work with a developing dream app called Dreamigos. That's Dreamigos. You can find this app on the Google app or the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. It's free to download, though now we do have premium access, which gives you access to some fun things that you don't have with the basic option. But anyway, this is a dream recording app. You have multiple ways you can dream record. You can do talk to text, you can put up a picture, or you can just type it in. And you have the ability to either keep that private for yourself for documentation of your dreams, or you can share it to our public dream line where you have the opportunity to get guidance and interpretation from dream experts like Urania and I. Also, it's great to just be involved with the community too. If you do post on the dream line, you're more than welcome to also comment on the dream line and give your guidance and interpretation too. It's a really cool, almost like a blog for dreamers, with like dream experts on there as well to help out. But with this comes a free monthly dream circle, and we just had our dream circle recently. I think it was the 2nd of December. something
Yeah.
like that. Like it was just recently, and it was a lot of fun. Urania and I hosted with our other dream expert Andrea, and it was just a great conversation where the community can come together over Zoom and participate in learning about dream work and sharing your own dreams. So if you haven't downloaded that today, do it, and we hope to see you there.
Yeah. Thank you. Alrighty. So, everyone listening, watching, let us know how your dream space has been since the previous new moon that was in Scorpio on November 20th. That kind of set the tone for this lunar cycle. And I mean, I'm glad to be ending the lunar cycle. But it has
Yeah.
been a weird dream cycle for me. Like in a good way, I feel. How about you?
Um, So I actually feel like this is a weird dream circle for me. I normally am able to like last dream circle, I think I had like 5 to 7 dreams that I had just written down. I didn't share them all, but I had them written down. This time around, I only had about 2 dreams. And
Like written down.
just
Okay.
in general, like I really didn't dream like
Oh,
I
yeah.
this cycle, I feel like I was so stressed and so burnt out and overwhelmed, and I have just been going, and I haven't had the ability to really hone in on my dream space. It's been like a lot of the times I go to bed and I wake up and there hasn't been anything in between, and I understand that this is a busy time, and when I'm very, very busy like this, and especially to the point where I'm burning out and I'm having a hard time mentally, my dream space is not very enriching. And just, blackness. And I know I need the rest, but it is always disappointing to not be, having adventures in the liminal. So I only had 2 dreams that really came through this cycle, and they were both very interesting. Um, but I I'm not even gonna say I'm disappointed because I need to give myself like grace.
Hmm.
But if I had a word for this cycle, it would be exhaustion, burnout, just like no time for otherworldly experiences.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I didn't realize it was only like two that you really remember. But I remember, yeah, you were so busy. I mean, it was like I get that because I have the same experience where it's like if I'm so busy and you have to wake up and do stuff, like you don't have time to like it's like you think about it, but then your mind is already on to the next thing. So you lose it pretty much instantly.
Right. And
And
I've
that
not been sleeping well. Like I've not been sleeping through the night, and I've been having a very difficult time actually getting to sleep. I've been noticing that around 12:30, 1 o'clock, I'll get a second wind. And I know I'm a late
yeah.
I know I'm a late, like I'm a night owl. I stay up late anyway. But normally between like 1 and 2, I'll get settled and go to sleep. But lately it's like between 12:30 and 1, I have a second wind and I'm wide awake for
Yeah.
hours. And I just
Okay, there's something going on with that because that's been happening to me recently. And I'm just like, which leads into my dream experiences that I'll share. But yeah, so I didn't realize that was happening to you.
oh yeah, I don't know what it is, but it's like when that time comes, it's like I'll be tired all day, and then like between again like that 12:31, like I'm like wired and up, and I like
Have you
I
already
lay
gone
in
to
bed,
bed
and like
or
I will lay down
yeah,
and go to bed because I know it's 1:30, it's 2 o'clock, I need to go to sleep, and I'll just be like restless. I cannot go to my brain
yeah,
is going, and that's not a problem for me. Like I have hypothyroidism. Sleep is like natural. Like I can sleep anywhere. I can lay on the ground in the middle of the street and go to sleep and I would be fine. So for me to have like trouble actually going to sleep is outside of my norm. And it's not like I'm drinking coffee late either. So it's just,
well,
it's
there's definitely something going on there because I've been having a similar experience and
I
I
didn't know you were having
rarely
those.
sleep through the night. Yeah. Which led to the dream experiences I'm going to share. But let's hear about the two dreams that you did. You recorded them.
Oh,
Just remember them.
yes.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the first dream I had, this one was like they both were weird, but this one is definitely weird. And like you and I have talked about it and I understand it, but it was still weird to experience because when you're having a dream, especially like when you're lucid and you're really like experiencing it, like you're really taking in all of the feelings and all of what's going on and all the emotions, like it's just it can be very weird. So in this dream, I had it November 21st. So it was the first, like, or second night in this new cycle of the new moon.
Mhm.
And essentially, I was at the hospital in the waiting room. I was 9 months pregnant. I was in labor and I was in pain. But like I was starting to like lose control of my body and like I just kept shitting everywhere. Like I had no control over it and it was terrible. I was in like, you know, like a gown. So it was just like I was just shitting on the floor. It was terrible. And like I'm walking around the hospital and I'm trying to like find someone to help me, but the nurses and doctors are all preoccupied and I just keep shitting everywhere. And it was so embarrassing and I'm just like waddling around because I'm 9 months pregnant in my dream. Like it feels like I'm 9 months pregnant. And finally, I'm put in this room. And it's kind of like, it feels like a long doctor's room. And there's three cots. And then there's that, like, you know, when you walk into a doctor's office and they put you in the actual room for the doctor, and there's that small counter with the sink and the like all the little things and the cabinets, you know, and whatever. That was there. The doctor was sitting at his computer like I was at a doctor's appointment and I'm sitting on the bed, and of course, that feeling like I'm gonna shit again comes, and I like run into this bathroom, and the bathroom's really long and weird too. And then I start to feel this like essence following me, this like essence in the air, kind of like something shifts. And I'm done going to the bathroom, and I go and I like kind of waddle out to the cot closest to the door by the doctor and the counter, and I'm passing, and the one woman who's next to me in the cot next to me, she was dealing with an accident from like a circular razor from not razor, a circular saw, like a table saw, circular table saw from like a woodworking shop, and she was talking to me about something, but I couldn't quite hear her because there was just like the essence of this thing that was following me was loud in a way where like it was muting the people around me who was talking. And then, so I'm laying in the bed and my sister's sitting next to me, and I can feel myself start to like crown and go into labor. And I essentially like deliver this baby by myself. And I'm sitting there and I'm perplexed because, of course, I'm like experiencing childbirth and I'm like aware I'm dreaming. So I know that it's not real. I know that I'm not actually going through this, but because everything's sensory and I'm feeling it and I'm experiencing it, and it's just a weird place to be in. And my sister leaves and she comes back, and I guess she was trying to find my mom. My mom had died in the waiting room
This is
while
so
I was giving birth. And I was just like, then I woke up and I was like, well, if that's not to the point, my mom dying waiting for me to have a baby,
yeah,
because like I have mentioned many times that I'm not having kids. Of course that's up in the air. Like at this point I'm letting the universe do it, but I still tell my parents I'm not having kids. Like if it happens it'll be a surprise for them. I'm not going to give, you know, I'm not. So it was such an interesting and funny dream.
I remember when you like told me that. Like I didn't even think about that and you mentioned it and I just know like how your mom like yeah, I mean, like she wants to have kids and whatnot. She wants grandkids. And
Yes.
like she literally died.
Thank
Like
God for
it's so
my sister who's 9 months pregnant and will be having her baby soon. And my parents have not asked me about when I'm gonna have a baby since she got pregnant. So I'm like, thank you.
right.
Thank you for stepping in and taking responsibility because I was going to disappoint my parents.
Right. Yeah, but okay, so I remember when you shared this with me before, and I really I felt like you in that portal of like the ending and the beginning. And of course, in typical Jungian fashion, it's like, okay, what does your mother represent to you? And then this new
Yeah.
baby. Like, did you see the baby at all, or did
Yeah,
you? Oh, okay.
it just
So,
looked like a generic newborn baby, like not
okay.
particularly
It didn't
cute
really
or
stand out to you.
anything. It was just, like, when they're that tiny, they're kind of like a sack of skin. Like, they're just like a baby. I don't know.
Yeah. Mary said that shit means money coming in. Like,
I
from
sure
her
hope so.
perspective, right?
I'll put that in the air. Like,
Right.
let's get this money. Let's get this money because I would love that. Which is
Yeah.
funny because for me, initially, what I thought of with like me pooping everywhere, it was like me expelling myself of what is no longer necessary.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
I really felt like it was like
Like
that,
the purge.
when you poop, it's like the aspects of food that didn't do anything for your body. And it's just like your body doesn't need this. It needed what it took, and now it doesn't need anything else. And so it's essentially useless. So I was just thinking, like, this is me expelling the things that no longer serve me in my life.
Yeah.
And you had mentioned in when I shared the dream that my mom dying could have been a representation of parts of myself
Yeah.
shedding and dying that were kind of attached to her, or like aspects of her that I've been working out of myself, like some maybe patterns that I learned from her. Like, and I feel that strongly too. And then the birth of the baby, like this new,
Yeah.
like letting
Like
go of that
making it
made way
insane.
for this new thing.
Well, then also I recall that this whole year, I feel like I definitely know of like, I can't say like quote the dream or anything, but I know you've had like at least two dreams about being pregnant or
Yeah.
some aspect of like a baby being involved. And so it's interesting that here we are kind of at the end of the year, and not only did you give birth, but before you did, you were like literally purging all the things, like could have been all the blocks, all the toxicity, the negative energy surrounding whatever the birthing of this baby represents to you. So I can, like everything that needs to end or needs to be released, that's already happening naturally, and it's reflected in your dream space. And so you're
Oh,
going to
yes.
give birth to whatever the baby represents for you,
I mean, essentially, the baby is most likely myself. I'm like giving birth to a new version of myself,
Yeah.
cleared of what no longer served me. And that's actually incredible considering that we're at the end of this year. Again, it has been an exceptionally difficult year. And uh, I mean, it feels like it's been 5 years since January.
Yeah.
And there's been a
Yeah.
lot going on. There's been so many ups and downs, and I've been struggling with a significant amount of personal issues and lessons that, like, I am I take this dream as like a very good dream, like a good omen,
Oh yeah.
a representation of where I'm at and where I'm going to be, and I'm really happy that I can move into the next year knowing that even though I feel like I had a hard time this year, the lessons that I had to move through brought me to this new place, this
Mm.
new version of myself with because every hardship you go through, the lessons that you learn and these new habits and these new understandings that come with it. So I'm just hoping that 2026 is not so much a lesson year.
Right. Yeah. We're good over here. I
Yes.
like that Jackie mentioned you are purging and rebirthing cycle 9 to cycle 1, 2025 to 2026. And also I like when you mentioned that, Jackie, I'm also thinking about the nine, like the nine correlation to pregnancy. So like carrying a baby for 9 months. So maybe this is like what you were carrying for 9 years. Like we can play around with like so many aspects of this,
So many. And it
especially since
makes me
there
think,
was
like,
so much coming out of you in the dream,
it makes so much sense because I turned 30 this year, for those who don't know. 21 was a very difficult time of my life.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes a lot of sense that I'm not only, purging this year, but purging like the last 9 year
Yeah.
cycle that we've experienced.
Wow. Sorry, I was just reflecting back to my 9 years. Okay. Yeah. There's a lot of this is, yeah, we're coming into the stillness period. This is a good time to reflect on the last 9 years. And make peace with that and like don't hold yourself accountable. Like don't or hold yourself accountable. Don't hold yourself hostage. Like forgive
Yes.
yourself, let it go, you know.
Absolutely. That's where I'm at right now is like finding the grace to give myself.
Self-forgiveness. Yeah, that's a good
Like
one.
we've gone
Compassion.
through so much as humans. We are continuously going through so much and we're like wiping away old traumas or merging old traumas with new traumas and like moving through all of this and trying to navigate the day to day, let alone the year to year. And like I can say that the last 9 years have been a roller coaster,
Yeah.
a very big, like, I don't even know,
Wow. Yeah. I'm just
eye
thinking
opening.
like 9 years ago, I like was fully out of my divorce because I got divorced. My Saturn return was essentially getting divorced. And then when I turned 30, by that time it was finalized. So it was like a whole year of that, like integrating that, and then 31. Interesting. All
Yeah.
right. So you have another dream to
Yes.
share, right? Okay.
I have one more dream, and this one was December 8th. So it's like I had this dream a few days after the beginning of the new moon, and I had this last dream like a week before the end of this cycle. So
Mhm.
this was an interesting dream. Again, it brought up like familial, nostalgic, like feelings. So I had woken up in my dream in my bedroom how it was when I was a teenager. And essentially, like, I'm a very organized, clean, like, I'm not perfect, but I keep my house relatively nice. However, when I was a teenager, my internal mental hellscape projected into my outer landscape.
Mm.
And my room was a mess. My carpet was destroyed. My closet was filled to the brim. I couldn't keep up with cleaning. It was just, if you walked into my room and you saw it, you would probably be able to be like, yeah, I see the correlation between the mental health state that you're in right now with the way that you are living. And so I was in that room and you and I had been talking on Zoom because we were about to get on a Zoom call with this guy. Um, we had scheduled to be on his podcast. There was some odd energy with this guy. Like, I didn't really like his vibe. I don't think you were really liking his vibe, but we were going with it because we wanted the experience and whatever. So I said, I'm going to go pee real quick and then I'll be right back. So I walked out of my childhood bedroom down the hall to my bathroom. But the bathroom was the same as it is now. Like, it's organized the way my sister has it organized because she's living there. That's her bathroom. It's not a shared bathroom anymore. She redid it's very like clean and organized and nice. And I used the bathroom. I like looked in the mirror and like, made sure I looked okay. And then I walked back into the room, sat down on the floor with my computer, which I haven't had a computer in years. So that's funny. And I was on Zoom with you, and then we got let into this other Zoom room where it was supposed to be just the three of us, this you, me, and this guy. It was actually like 12 other people in the Zoom call. And as the Zoom call started and I saw all the people, you and I were like all of us were transported, like immediately transported like magic to this round table in the middle of like the rolling hills of what you would see in like a Lord of the Rings like landscape, like where the hobbits live type of energy. Like there weren't little houses in the hills, but it was just like rolling green hills, and we were at this round table, and we were I immediately noticed that we were like somewhere else, and you and I kind of looked at each other and we were kind of like just flabbergasted at this transportation. And then the group kind of started talking about another subject and then disappearing. Like some people just vanished from thin air, and other people just got up and walked away. And I turned around and there was this shed behind me. And I noticed there was this like this creature, this otherworldly creature. It was like this big, and it was maybe like this big, and it was like furry, kind of like a caterpillar. It was yellow, and it was moving along the shed, and I was just like, I almost like I'm sure you can imagine, I like zoomed in and was like looking at it up close for like a couple seconds, and then you had walked away, and all of the sudden it was like I was eating like nuts, like some kind of like seed or nut. And oh God, I hated the feeling. I could feel it in between my teeth, and I hate nuts. I hate the texture. And I'm like spitting it out. I'm eating. I keep eating it and spitting it out and eating and spitting out. And I turn around and I'm walking up this hill where there's this mossy covered building, like another little shed, but it's covered in moss. And I'm walking up the hill past it. And I'm spitting out these seeds everywhere. And I hear this voice come from the sky, like this radiating voice that takes over the whole dream. And essentially, it's telling me I'm replanting, like I'm spreading seed and replanting this landscape, this world, this environment. And then I woke up and I was like I could still almost like feel the texture of the
Yeah.
nuts in my teeth and my mouth. And it was so interesting and so weird.
Mm. I love that. I remember you told me about this dream, and I love that.
You were eating pistachios when I told you that dream.
I know. I was thinking about that too. I was like sitting there listening to you talk about this dream, literally picking out like the shells. No, I really like this dream. It was just so interesting. Because it felt like there was definitely the astral travel involved, and like with the people vanishing. I don't, and it felt like, I don't know, it feels like to me just coming through right now, like feels really personal in the sense of like a representation of our work and journey together, like how we might, enter into spaces, like maybe this is like something in the future where we might collab with someone or enter a space where we might not vibe, or just people are in and out. And like I'm thinking of something actually like specific that I can see how this is reflected. But it's like your mission is very clear, or like your intention is very clear, not to say that it's completely reflected in that. And like maybe that was some sort of spirit guide or your higher self or whoever coming in to be like, hey, like, don't forget the bigger picture here, or this is a part of your like giving you insight to, this is a part of your purpose or what you're doing here. um Especially it's just interesting because you don't like nuts, but it's like, I don't know, I don't even know how to really express like my perspective on it, but I just think it was like, I can see it, like I can definitely see just the transitions of things. I don't know, what was your, remind me of like your thoughts on it.
So I found this really interesting. So I felt like this person, whoever this person was within the dream space, was a key, and they opened the door for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because after we traveled, they weren't there, and everybody started leaving. So it was like
Oh
we
yeah.
were brought to this place by this person, and then they no longer served as an important role in the dream.
Mm-hmm.
And especially looking at the way that I started, like I started in a place that I feel like maybe my inner teenager needs more work. Actually, my inner teenager definitely needs more work. Like everybody always talks about nourishing your inner child, but like you also need to nourish each version of yourself. And your inner teenager is someone who often, as neglected as they were when you were a teenager, we often neglect healing that aspect of ourselves. And I think that being in my old bedroom really represented an aspect or a pattern that maybe is still lingering. And when we were transported, it was like this otherworldly, like I can't even explain it. It felt so magical and so beautiful, and like these odd creatures, and and it was it with that voice in the sky, I felt like was like a guide or my higher self of some sort, really like really putting in that, these things, you might not like doing these things. You might not like eating these seeds and nuts, but you're planting you're planting your landscape for it to grow and become something, like you said. It's like the keeping the bigger picture in mind. And I can kind of like link a few different things
Yeah, like as
to
soon as
that.
I started talking, I was like, oh, I can see what this is like reflecting in some ways. And yeah, no, I'm just happy I was there for like a portion of that. And when did you have this dream? You said recently?
December 8th.
Oh, okay.
And I
Okay.
really feel like, this journey that we're on, we're taking together. Like that's why we traveled together. And I loved that you were there, because even like it was something between the two of us, but then it was also something personal to myself. And I felt like
Yeah.
it was a support. Like I feel like you were there, and it felt very supportive, almost like, I don't know, because you set up the podcast episode with this person. Like
Okay, yeah.
this was someone that you knew, you didn't really like super vibe with, but you knew. We, got to, it ended up being a lot of people, and but it was so interesting. And I feel like I'm somebody who, I get overwhelmed and then I try to erase, or not erase. I try to put up blinders, and like sometimes it's not even a purposeful thing. I just get overwhelmed and I just block things out.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like one of my biggest lessons, and I mean, since we started the podcast, one of my biggest lessons is to continue to work hard and pour into this creation that we've had.
Mm-hmm.
I I love doing this podcast. I love having conversations every week, but this is the most consistent thing I've ever done aside from like a job.
Yeah.
Everything else has been so inconsistent because I get overwhelmed, and I like the door closes. I let the door close.
Well, also the expectation, the obligation,
Right.
like, and sometimes we're moody creatures. Like sometimes it's like, what's really helpful for us being consistent is that we were doing this was a podcast before it was a podcast.
Yeah.
So we have all these like extra chats, and we're just like, oh, like if we're having a day or something comes up, we can just, share an archive chat. So it really helps us still be consistent because we can easily just be like, well, you don't have anything. So
Right. But what I was going to say is, with this, it's so organic. It's, even if we have hard times, it's still organic, natural. It flows really nice. And we end up, when we start the podcast, if we're feeling off, by the end, we're usually feeling really good. This is easy for me. It's
yeah,
fun. It's
and that's
always fun. It's
yeah.
always, we're always learning. We're always growing. We're always having new dreams. We're always having fun interpreting the dreams. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's other things that might be more difficult for me. And
Yeah,
I feel like this dream is more so pointing towards
still doing that. Yeah,
these other
still
things.
contributing to something like to like a bigger purpose.
Right, right. Like, and the big picture for like just overall in general, what I love and what I care about, because I feel like this last couple months my exhaustion has been through the roof, and I've been more depressed. So I've not been finding as much enjoyment in what I enjoy doing to begin with. So like I'm losing enjoyment to things that feel a little more like work.
Yeah,
That's why I love this podcast, because it doesn't feel like work. It's fun.
yeah,
But
yeah.
like there's other things that are just a little more difficult. So I loved this dream. I feel like I'm on this journey of personal growth, really identifying my issues, my struggles, and moving through them in a healthy way where I can, the complexities that come through, I can navigate.
Hmm. Yeah. No, I'm happy to hear that too. Yeah. Again, this year, 2025.
We're ready.
Yes.
So I've
So,
talked enough.
yeah. Yeah.
Let's go into your dreams because I know your dreamscape has
Yeah.
been
It's been crazy.
crazy.
I wish I would have reflected on the previous cycle before this just to see like the change, because I know that um recently I know I talked about this last cycle, but I personally, like, everything in my life has been changing in a big way. And metaphysics has been a super, like, a major focus, or just has taken root in like my work, so to speak. Which is not surprising, but what is surprising, that in this like passion and inspiration to, just explore the nature of existence, I wouldn't say I never, but I didn't think that the first direction would be extraterrestrials. Like, I mean, it's a whole thing. So, but it's been like, it's just, I get so excited about it. I don't know why. And so that excitement has been here for some time. Um, and so it's been not surprising, but showing up in my dream space. And I'm pretty sure. So I think the last time we talked, I did share about like the series of dog dreams I was having. I think
Yeah.
that was last cycle. And so shout out to my friend Jackie. I don't know if Jackie's still here, but Jackie really helped me with that. Um, Along with another friend who is not a dream, like she doesn't do the dream stuff, or but she has a strong connection with extraterrestrials. So conversations with her, and then Jackie's support with, just offering to do an Akashic record reading for me. Like, that Akashic record reading just really opened me up. And um long story short, I started having these interactions with dreams, or with ETs through dreams, I believe. Like, my dream space is just crazy. So to make a long story short, like, I do have one dream, and I'll kind of touch on a second dream because it's like pretty much related. But I have been not sleeping very well, at least on these two instances. Like, I have been like waking up, like you said, at like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm just up, like I'm wide awake, and it takes me a couple hours to go back to sleep. So on this night, I think I woke up at like 2 a.m. and I didn't even go back to sleep until around like 5. And so I noticed that this is a thing. When this happens, like, I easily lucid dream, because it's almost like that wake back to bed. But
Right.
generally they say go back to bed within like 20 minutes. Like, for me, it's like 3 hours, but it doesn't matter, because it's like I was so awake, and then I'm still in this in between. So anyways, I'm going to share my dream. And this was a lucid dream experience. So this happened on December 10th. So this is what was going on in the dream. So I was laying in my bed, still in a dream. I looked at the wall, and there was a door. So I'm laying on my bed, and my bed is in the middle of the room. And so the way I'm laying on my side, there's a wall, like in my actual bedroom, right, facing the wall. So I wake up in the dream, even though I'm dreaming, but I'm laying in the bed like how I fell asleep. So I look at the wall, and there was a door there. So I was curious about it. So I opened it, and basically I just sat up on the bed and leaned and opened it. Like, it was very close, like pretty much how the wall is to my bed. So I opened it, but then thought, no, I don't know about that. So then I shut the door and laid back down. And so then Sadori, my daughter, she, like, her and I sleep together, right? We basically share a bed. It's her bed, but I'm always there. And so in the dream, like, I lay back down, and then she woke up and said, let's check it out. So I opened the door again, and she was with me, and she was like riding on my shoulders. So I was like carrying her on my shoulders. Is really cute. And we walked through just a few steps, and there were plants everywhere. So house plants. It was really pretty. Um, and then I woke up and was back in my bed. So it was just an instant, like, we were in there, I was kind of looking around, and then again, it was like a series of waking up, like going back to sleep and waking up. So then I wake up again, and I had a feeling that Sidori was just kind of helping me, enter the space, because then I woke back up again, and I decided to get back up and walk through the door. So I walked back into the same house. There were beautiful plants all around. It was dark, like someone was asleep and all the lights were off in the house, or maybe they just weren't home. I was close to the kitchen. I heard water slowly running in the sink and was a little annoyed because I felt it was trying to wake me up. I went to check the sink to make sure nothing was flooding, and I saw there was a cup covering the sinkhole, so I moved it. Wow, this is a synchronicity. Okay, but I'll share later. The water was still pouring out the faucet and started turning red like blood. I don't know why I didn't turn the sink off. I just walked away. And I was kind of annoyed because, well, for me, when I'm lucid, because I was fully lucid in this, like little things like that was starting to feel anxious. And I knew if I was to really tune into that, it would collapse the dream. So I
Mm-hmm.
was just kind of like, I don't have time for that, because that,
Right.
like, it almost started feeling scary.
But yeah, you
Um,
wanted to keep yourself cemented in the dream so it can continue on.
Right, exactly. So I continued to look around the house. I was careful not to touch anything. I wanted to leave the house, so I looked for the front door. First door was a closet, then I saw it and walked out. And then I saw the front door and I opened it and walked outside. I was so happy that when I walked out, it was a warm summer night. And the first thing I did was look at the sky. It was beautiful, a pinkish purple, like a nice sunset, but it was late at night. So many stars were visible. People were out and about. It was one of those neighborhoods where there were houses interspersed with a street of restaurants and shops. A younger woman jogged past me and I said hello, and she just looked at me because she didn't know me clearly. So kind of just, yeah. I felt awkward and walked around watching people and just checking everyone out. There was a baby with its parents sitting at an outdoor patio, and the baby totally acknowledged me, just staring and smiling. The baby knew what was up, that I wasn't from there, right? I smiled and waved the peace sign at them and kept walking, not talking to anyone, just observing. So I kind of like made a little connection with the baby. So then I asked myself, where am I? I crossed the street as I decided I was going to go to the bar and socialize. I looked at the license plate and I saw one that said Virginia and another said West Virginia. Then I woke up. Then I woke up. And my heart was racing, as there was definitely anxiety type feeling in the dream. So I was about to have an anxiety attack,
Right.
which was interesting. Like nothing scary happened, but in the whole dream, I think it's just me. Like this is just my lingering anxiety and fear, where like nothing was happening, but it was like the darkness. I don't know. I was feeling like something was gonna like jump out, but like my body was already in that fight or flight.
Right.
Um, let's see. There's another. Okay, so that's, I don't care about that dream. So yeah, so that was that.
Oh my God. Okay. So first of all, the dream within the dream aspect
Yeah.
always intrigues me because it makes me think like are you like how far are you traveling? How far are you actually traveling? How many places are you actually going? Why are you not spending more time in this first place? Like what didn't it serve? Like that always comes to my head. Like when you are having a dream within a dream, what is that first dream that you're in doing that might influence this next dream? Or
Yeah.
like it are you deciding and you're not even realizing that you're deciding that you're going to travel elsewhere? So the dream within the dream aspect always intrigues me, especially like, you open the door and it's this plant, these lives essentially, like this plant life coming through, it's greenery and it's what is that representing? What is it's like abundance of some sort, or maybe when I think about, because plants are one of those things that remind me of aliens because they have this whole way of
Yeah.
communicating with each other that we don't understand. Their needs are they're living and breathing and existing, but like because they're so foreign to how we exist,
Mhm.
like to me they remind me of aliens.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So
can see that. Oh, I didn't mention too, I had sleep paralysis at some point in this, like the between like the waking up and that, or I think it was like before I actually woke up in my bed, like before the series of waking up happened, I had sleep paralysis from like coming out of another dream. And then it was like I fell back asleep, but then I woke back up in this dream, which that's been happening a few times, at least definitely 2 times. It could have been 3 times, like in this cycle. So yeah, that's
Well,
really interesting.
it is interesting. And what I was going to mention too is like the way that you have that anxiety around that feeling. There's like, oh, you like almost like you feel like something bad's going to happen. Something else is there. Something that else is there with you. You know, I have that a lot in my dream. I don't get the anxiety attack or the anxiety. Like it can be very unnerving. Like I
Yeah.
mentioned in the hospital when I was, you know, having this baby, like things shifted and all of a sudden I wasn't alone and like that essence was very loud and like you didn't really know. There was no translating what was going on. It was just there was nothing to see, nothing to actually hear. It was just like and I get that often where like there's something else with me, and that jogs my interest too, because it's like, is there something actually with us? Is
Yeah.
there something visiting us? And it's like, you know, interdimensional or alien, and we don't see it. We don't know how to perceive it with
Yeah.
our humanness.
Yeah.
Um, but then going into this, you're going outside, you're looking up at the sky, you see this beautiful, it almost feels like aurora borealis type,
No, it literally, that's kind of what it was like. Yeah.
and like you're really basking in this energy of the sky and the stars, and then you're walking around and of course only this baby really recognizes you as being from somewhere else. And that makes me think too, like generally babies see things that we can't
Yeah.
see, like they laugh at things or they're scared of things and we don't really know what that is. And it's like, well, did you actually try, like were you having almost like an out of body experience, travel, astral travel, where you were literally visiting somewhere else? And only this baby was able to perceive you because they have that I don't
There's,
know, like lack
yeah.
of filter of what, you know, where we are reality wise, or they're more sensitive and like you were really visiting an actual place.
I really feel like I was, because like even the period, it was almost like 90s America, but not like it was like if there was an in between of like the 90s and the new millennium, I don't know, like the 90s and now, like
Mm-hmm.
because it's kind of like a merging of that, but not like a time period that we like, at least culturally and visually, that we've experienced. So it almost felt like, I really felt like it was like an alternate reality. And I'm just so mad that I woke up before I went to the bar, because I was gonna I was planning to go. I don't think I was gonna have a drink or anything. I don't know. I was planning to go there and like talk to people just
Yeah.
to, see what was gonna happen. Um, and but then I woke up when I was crossing the street, but I did notice, the license plate, and it was West Virginia and Virginia. I was like, that's interesting.
I
Um,
did you do it like did you type in oh, what would I even be like, city town, like nightlife city town in
oh no,
Virginia, West Virginia, and see if even anything like pops up that might
no, I didn't do
resemble what you
that.
experienced.
Mm-mm. I should do that though.
Oh, I love
I
dreams like
really,
that.
so this is, and I'll keep this short too, because we're already after the hour, but
Are you really?
yeah, it's 10:09.
Oh my god.
And I'm like, oh, I'm getting kind of tired. But so I had another, and I shared this with you. I had another similar dream. Again, I woke up late at night, couldn't go back to sleep, finally went back to sleep, and um I don't even remember, I was having many dreams, sleep paralysis in the dream. And that's one thing I did share with Alexis, for those of you listening who may experience sleep paralysis or have. And um this was different. Like, I've had sleep paralysis since I was a young teenager, and this one, though, it was like in the dream, and it really made me think about the perspective of sleep paralysis occurring when you, like, it's as a result, it results from you traveling through different dimensions, but like the transition isn't, it's kind of funky.
Yeah.
So it's like your spirit body is still integrating. I don't even know how to put it into words. I just know it's a choppy transition,
No,
like,
it reminds me of like,
which
you
it
know,
feels like that. Yeah.
the images of like the spirit body over the physical body. It
Yeah.
reminds me of like if they were
Yeah.
merged, almost like one of those circle charts
Yeah.
where like you're half merged into your physical form, but you're not quite there.
Yeah. Exactly. And it's like somehow like your conscious mind, maybe your human mind turns on and you're just like, holy shit. So that makes sense because again, I was like going through all these different dreams because I think that in one of the dreams, like the one I just shared, I remember at some point there was a falling and like I felt like I fell into like my room.
Ooh.
But with
Ooh.
basically, I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden I was in Alexis's house. I've never been to her actual house. And I don't think it was this actual house.
Mm-hmm.
But like I was with you initially, and then somehow I wasn't. Like we were at your house and I was in spirit or something. And I was like, I gotta talk to her, I gotta tell her something. And I was trying to figure out how to communicate with her. So I was like trying to like, I'm like, should I mess with this like doorbell alarm system type thing? Like I was trying to figure out how to connect with you through technology, pretty much like how I would view a spirit, trying to send a message to, like a person, right? And so I that's the way my energy and my perception was in the dream, where it was like I was like a spirit body just moving around the house and you couldn't see me. I was like, I have to, um so that's been happening. And I honestly, I do feel that I'm traveling and I'm like, I don't know, I feel that I'm just traveling to different places. Like I really felt like I was in that person's, like someone's house. I really felt like I was in your house, even though it's not your house, but it could have been like an alternate reality type situation.
Oh, I
So
100% believe that you're traveling,
yeah.
especially with how, like you said, how connected you've been with like extraterrestrial and like this shifting of your realities and where you're going and what your intentions are and like moving through this journey. Like I really feel that travel coming through in your dreams is significant, and I'm really excited to see where it takes you.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we should bring it to a close. We'll share more down the road. I almost want to do like a specific chat on like I don't think we've done one with like aliens and dreams.
No, I don't think so.
So
I
I'll
mean, we'll have
say
to look, but I don't think we
yeah,
have
yeah,
because you and I both have had extraterrestrial
yeah,
type dreams, and it would be an interesting conversation to just like deep dive in it.
yeah. That would be so much fun. So stay tuned for that in 2026, which is an important year for ET contact, apparently. That and
Oh,
going into 2027. So
with how insane this year has been, I'm really curious how this next year is going to go.
I mean, our outside world is really wild.
Yes.
So, I mean, if we're thinking about the extremes of like reality, it's like, I'm not surprised. So I already received, did you
Me,
receive an
yep, I
oracle?
received. You can go ahead.
Okay, so you guys were sharing an oracle for the new cycle. So take it if it resonates and you know what to do if it doesn't. So my card, and I'm gonna go ahead and pin my screen so I'm full. If I remember how to do this. I don't know if I remember how to do it. Let's see. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Okay. So my oracle for all of us, what I received for us is Tulsi. So this is my herbal astrology oracle deck. And this is Tulsi with the keyword wealth. So woo, speaking of wealth, and it's good for you and I because we have Sagittarius ruling the second house. So I'm like all
Yes,
for
we
it. And we
do.
have Mercury and Jupiter associated with this card. So I'm just going to read the guidance here from the guidebook, but I'll touch on the additional key energies as prosperity, true wealth, charismatic, vivacious, luxury, beauty, and auspicious. So that's
I
interesting,
like this so far.
right? I'm like, bring it. This is very relative. Okay. For me, this is a good sign. Okay. So the Talasi, that's what it says here. The Talasi goddess sits proudly facing her beautiful peacock, symbolizing heaven on earth. She raises her arms with grace, aiming them like wands to catalyze magic and wealth. The fountain is centered between the goddess and the peacock, representing the wellspring created between earth, the manifest world, and heaven, the spirit world. Peacock embodies the medicine of auspiciousness, magic, and beauty, reminding us that we are the living gateway to the greatest of mysteries. Tulsi is here today to teach that the key to Jupiter's doorway, abundance, and wisdom is to live, create, and communicate from a place of wonder, innocence, and impeccability, rather than doubt and confusion. Don't be fooled by material possession or the vanity often worshipped in the material world. Tune into deeper realities that abound around you. Be spontaneous and celebrate your temple just as you are. Right?
I love that so much. I love that, specifically the last part of like connecting into the deeper realities and like diving deeper into the other worlds and the dream realm and whatnot. I just feel like that's exactly what we need to do, especially like this last part of the year. This
Yeah.
this the end of the end.
Yes.
Wow. And I hope it brings abundance. Let's go.
It
I'm all
will.
for
We're
that.
claiming it. Let's claim it. Everybody
Claiming
watch.
it right now, abundance is coming. I
Yes.
am I am
I'm
putting
ready
that
to
in the
receive.
air and it is going to come to us and everybody who's watching us. We are all going to become abundant in
Yeah.
wealth of all forms.
I'm here for it. All right. What you got?
Okay, so I pulled Unity. It's 20 number 29 in my deck, the Bloom deck I used. And the sentence that's on the card is we are all in this together.
Wow. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. This is so sweet.
So the word is unity. Of course, we're all in this together and this is the interpretation that's in the guidebook. Me and you, us and them, him and her. We are all in the same river of life, just in different boats. We came from the same place and one day will return to the same place. Why judge and compare someone else's journey to our own and vice versa? We are all one and we are all. Ask yourself, where have I been comparing myself to others? And where have I been comparing others to me? I love this card. I think this perfect way to end the year,
Wealth
recognizing
in unity.
wealth and unity. And like, really, comparison is a thief of joy, and we all do it.
Yeah.
There's no reason for us to be comparing our lives to another person's when we're all so different and all have our own paths and journeys laid out. Like, you're not supposed to be on someone else's path, you're supposed to be on your own path. And I feel like that's a great reminder for, especially, going into this new year. We're going to be setting new goals for ourselves. And I think it's important to recognize that when we put new goals in the air, that we don't stray from them because someone else's goals are different and you're seeing something that, you think you should have or you think you should be doing or you think other people would want you to be doing. And like to really stick to your goals and your wants and your needs. And again, that aspect too of self-preservation versus self-sacrifice and what is for you and what is you're trying to do for others that you think is best for yourself but it's not. Really going in and paying attention to your own intuition and allowing yourself to enjoy what you enjoy.
Yeah. I love that. That was so well said.
Thank you. These are perfect. Wealth and unity. And you
Wealth
know
and
what? I
unity. This is
do have to
great.
say, not to go down this particular path, but 2025 has been a very big year for division.
Yeah.
And
No,
I
that,
think that come 2026, we need to start finding a way to reunite, bring us together, because we're not going to grow if we're constantly,
yeah.
you know.
Well, my perspective what I'm feeling into, what I'm like claiming. um, I hope that the ETs really help us with this. Some argue that it's going to create more division, that it's going to be a apocalyptic type thing because, you know, they might be dire to humanity was someone's comment, but I'm leaning into a different perspective. And I'm like, I feel like it's going to really um just open our eyes. It's kind of like, whoa, you know, like, holy shit, we're not the only ones here. And so now, like, maybe it'll open up our consciousness too. And of course, you're gonna have people are gonna deny it, and there's still gonna be division, but I just see like they're just it being a marker and just like, okay, you live on that world, I'm living on this world.
Absolutely. And I feel like that's going to help you with shifting into your own reality. You know, the people who you don't need in your life, who aren't going to support the path that we're all moving towards, are going to go on to their own place and they're going to do their own thing. But yeah, moving forward with optimism of what the next year is going to bring and how different things are going to influence us in a positive way is going to be the healthiest way to go through the next year.
Find your tribe, find your tribe,
Mm-hmm.
your support, your inner circle. Alrighty, friends. Well, this was great. This was amazing. And we'll be back next year. It'll be 2026 when we're alive, and that's going to be so I'm ready. That's going to be nice.
I am also ready. And, you know, for everyone out there, I hope you have a wonderful holiday, whether it's Christmas, Hanukkah, Yule, Kwanzaa, all of the holidays, or none of the holidays. Enjoy. Allow yourself a break. Find peace and love where you can find it. And end this year with some happiness and optimism, if you can.
Yes. All right, everyone. Sweet dreams.
Sweet dreams.